It is a very worrying day for democracy in this country. She is making local government less accountable to the people and more accountable to her. These are her choices, and she has put a gun to the head of local councils to force them into a decision with little regard for local people.
In the next 10 minutes, we're going to unravel the web of Angela Rayner's local election postponement. We'll expose the hidden motives, the potential winners and losers, and the long-term consequences for British democracy. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this isn't just about moving a few dates on a calendar. It's about a fundamental shift in how power is distributed across the country.
We are totally against her plans to abolish every county council and every district council in England.
Angela Rayner's recent announcement to postpone local elections in several key regions has raised eyebrows and sparked intense debate. On the surface, it seems like a routine administrative decision. Rayner claims it's all about creating sustainable new unitary structures and unlocking devolution. But dig a little deeper, and you'll find a political powder keg waiting to explode. Critics aren't buying Rayner's explanation. They're calling it what they see it as, a blatant power grab. The accusation that this move is centralizing control in Westminster, not devolving it to local authorities as claimed.
There are concerns about the potential power drain of backbench local councillors if local government is seen increasingly as a delivery agent.
It's a classic case of delegation, not devolution, they argue. And when you look at the regions affected, East Sussex, West Sussex, Essex, Hampshire, the Isle of Wight, Norfolk, and Suffolk, you can't help but wonder why these specific areas were chosen. The timing of this announcement is particularly suspect. It comes just as Labour is rolling out 6 new potential devolution areas, which, surprise, surprise, include the regions affected by the election postponement.
It is a very worrying day for democracy in this country. She is making local government less accountable to the people and more accountable to her.
Coincidence? Hardly. It's looking more and more like a carefully orchestrated political maneuver. But what's the real game here? Some suggest that this postponement could shield Labour from potential electoral losses. After all, these areas aren't exactly Labour strongholds. By delaying the elections, they're effectively putting off a potential political reckoning. And we're not talking about a small impact here. This decision affects a staggering 5 million voters. The shift to unitary authorities isn't just a bureaucratic reshuffling. It's a seismic change in local governance. Local councils could see their roles diminished, altering the political landscape in these areas significantly. There are genuine concerns about a power drain from backbench local councillors.
The reality is that this is delegation, not devolution. Not devolution, but a clear centralisation.
Is local government being reduced to nothing more than a delivery agent for central policies? Labour's broader political strategy seems to be coming into focus. They're offering these regions a fast-track ticket to drive real change. But change for whom? And at what cost to local democracy? The postponement of elections, the creation of new unitary structures, the promise of devolution, it all paints a picture of a party trying to reshape the political battleground to its advantage. Just as Labour thought they had all their ducks in a row, a new force emerged on the scene, threatening to throw a spanner in the works. Reform UK isn't just making noise, they're making waves. And it's causing quite a stir in Westminster. Reform UK, the political party formerly known as the Brexit Party, has been gaining significant traction in recent polls.
Reform UK are now officially the most popular party in the country, overtaking not only the Tories but also Labour now.
Their surge in popularity has caught the attention of both Labour and Conservative MPs, who are now watching this upstart party with a mix of concern and curiosity. But is Reform UK the real reason behind Labour's controversial move to postpone local elections? The party certainly seems to think so. In a bold move, Reform UK has released a video urging citizens to sign a petition to hold the postponed elections. Their message is clear and provocative. Only dictators cancel elections.
And the reason this is happening is because what Reform are doing, what Nigel Farage and our MPs are doing, is giving the British people hope.
It's a statement that cuts to the heart of democratic values and raises serious questions about the motivations behind the postponement. But it's not just flashy videos and catchy slogans. Reform UK's leadership has positioned the party as a significant threat to both Labour and Conservative seats. They're not shy about their ambitions either. The party has explicitly stated that their rise could disrupt the traditional two-party system in these areas.
Not doing away with a two-tier system, she is simply creating a new tier of Orwellian-sounding strategic authorities.
It's a claim that's hard to ignore, especially when you consider the regions affected by the election postponements. Norfolk and Suffolk, crucial battlegrounds for both Labour and Reform UK. Rupert Lowe, MP for Great Yarmouth, didn't mince words when he labelled the postponement of elections as an outrage and an arrogant scam. His statement that democracy is inconvenient, democracy is costly, democracy is awkward, but it matters, strikes at the core of the issue.
These are her choices, and she has put a gun to the head of local councils to force them into a decision with little regard for local people.
It's a powerful reminder that the democratic process, however messy, is fundamental to our society. But is Westminster really terrified of Reform UK, as the party claims? Their recent polling numbers suggest there might be some truth to this assertion. Reform UK's growing influence in local politics is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Their presence could indeed significantly alter the political landscape in the regions affected by the election postponements. The timing of the postponement, coupled with Reform UK's rising popularity, has led to whispers of collusion between Labour and Tory councils. It's a serious accusation, one that implies a level of political manoeuvring that would make Machiavelli proud. But is there any substance to these claims, or is it just political posturing?
This announcement is a huge upheaval of local government right across the country, but this was not a government manifesto commitment.
Angela Rayner's decision to postpone local elections isn't just a scheduling issue. It's a symptom of a deeper power struggle in British politics. As Westminster tightens its grip, local communities are at risk of losing their voice. Experts warn that this centralization could stifle grassroots initiatives and create a dangerous disconnect between decision-makers and the people they're meant to serve. We've seen this story play out before in other countries, and it rarely ends well. Public backlash and a sense of powerlessness often follow when local representation is diminished. But there's hope. Grassroots movements across the UK are fighting back, demanding reforms that preserve local democracy and accountability. They're pushing for more community involvement in governance, not less. As voters, we can't afford to be passive observers in this power play. Whether elections are held tomorrow or next year, our engagement in local issues is critical. The real threat to democracy isn't just postponed elections. It's the apathy that allows power to be quietly consolidated away from our communities.